Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I watched the Georgia game last night with friends, and either Kentucky is really good this year or Georgia is not as good as they're supposed to be, because that game was tight. This Zippo lighter brought to you by Johnny from the UK. I wanted to mention everybody for today only, link to my sponsor linqto.com. They're doing they've decreased the minimum investment to like $2,500, and they're doing like 5% off I think it's all the don't quote me, but it's at least some of the private equity on the platform today only. Go check it out. Dark Defender. We've got an XRP. Let me look at it while I'm sitting here talking. We've got an XRP that is at 58, almost 60 cents. Dark Defender says XRP had an excellent breakout and retest weekly RSI. I expect the price will strongly break 60 cents within hours and proceed for the level boss, 66 cents. When the boss is eliminated, we will say seal, and never see him again. I don't know what that is. So here's the resistance is somewhere right in here, I guess. And then we take off, right? Okay. Check it out. Saudi central bank caught secretly buying 160 tons of gold in Switzerland. And then this is from Zero Hedge. Gold was the best performing asset in 2020 as it priced in the inflation surge of 2021-2022. Gold is the best performing asset in 2024. Well, it's the best performing asset of the traditional asset classes on this. What do you call these? A heat map. They do not reflect crypto at all, and so crypto, probably several cryptos, did better than gold. But I'm not saying gold's a bad thing. I'm a gold fan. Check this out. This was sent to me by the Gold Telegraph channel. This clip, he's got the whole clip down here. This clip I wanted you to hear.
In terms of the digital kind of transformation technologically with central bank digital currencies, in terms of that, 95% of central banks around the world are exploring, and whether in development or doing research on deployment of central bank digital currencies. And we're seeing, a China-led block, and we recently saw Saudi Arabia come in with Project Enbridge. What's your stance in terms of how central bank digital currencies will play a role in terms of the reset that you've really emphasized over the years?
So first you have to understand the motivation. The motivation is to find a mechanism. Most countries are trying to find a mechanism to operate outside of the US dollar system. And there have been lots and lots of conversations about how that's going to happen. There's been a conversation about a BRICS currency, which I think is possible, but I think it will take quite a bit of time for that to evolve. There is a much simpler, easy approach that is being employed now. You mentioned the Enbridge project. If you haven't heard about this, it's been a pilot program that's been run by China, Thailand, the UAE for the last 3-4 years. And how it basically works is that each of these countries created a central bank digital currency, and they conduct their trade central bank to central bank using only that, and it's completely outside the US dollar system. And now, as you said, Saudi Arabia and others want to join this Enbridge project, and I think that the BRICS will end up, any of the nations, that the 11 now and the ones that are to come, that want to be outside of the US dollar system will use that. And the critics of this, because they're obviously in the West, you'll see people poo-pooing the idea that this is going to work. They say, well, listen, why would you want to be holding Indian rupees, and if you're, what are you going to do with them if you have a deficit with another country? And the simple solution, and it was actually Jim Rickards who gave me this idea, and basically, I don't know if you've seen this, dozens and dozens of bilateral trade agreements being created between countries using only local currencies. That is the trend at the moment. That is the way that they're trying to stay outside of the US dollar system. And so let's say there are two countries that are trading together. At the end of a period, there's a trade deficit. How do you settle that deficit? So that you don't end up with currency you don't need, that you haven't done in your bilateral trade. You settle it with gold. And that's why I believe you're seeing every central bank outside of the West accumulating gold at an accelerating pace. It's a very simple formula. It's easy to do. It's all Forex transactions will be central bank to central bank. And you pick a period. Do you settle quarterly? Every 6 months, annually? But you can settle the deficits in trade with your gold positions. And I think that's where we're heading. And eventually, I think we're going to see a alternate currency that might be a BRICS unit. We'll see. I think that might take a bit longer.
Alternative currency. Check this out. XRP derivatives. Listen to this. And there's also the clip that we showed you the other day on the tail end.
And if you think about a business or an institutional investor, they also want access to the things we offer. They want 24-hour access to the equity markets, they want industry-leading margin rates, a great customer experience. So over time, I do think you'll see us branching more out into serving other types of customers, not just retail, but also businesses and institutions. And to that end, we announced an acquisition of Bitstamp, a global crypto exchange. One of the things that's very attractive about that business is that it's not just international, but also institutional. It gets us access to an entirely new customer base that we're not directly serving today. I think we can do more and more of that over the next 10 years.
We are launching our own derivatives exchange in the next few months, so that's something we are most excited about and really hope to cooperate closely with Ripple there as well. In final stage of integration of really some top 30 commercial banks globally on Bitstamp as a service. So these commercial banks will offer crypto through Bitstamp. So that's definitely something we are very proud of.
Okay. And then, there's a lot of talk about XRP and derivatives, and they just recently announced doing smart contracts on the XRP ledger, which makes this Kendra Hill post from a while back so interesting. True intentions of Ripple are to handle 100% of the transactions which take place in the derivatives market. And they say what they're missing is the piece of the puzzle, which is Codius. Well, what was Codius? Smart contracts. All right, Cowboy Crypto, who is the official cowboy of the Digital Asset Investor channel. Hinman, October 27th, 2020, Wells meeting regarding Ripple outside counsel. Stephanie Avakian, ex-SEC enforcement director. Former Alameda research exec Caroline Ellison hired Wilmer Hale partner Stephanie Avakian as her lawyer in the FTX investigation. So the same woman that's meeting over the Wells notice at the SEC, I think she's, SEC enforcement director. Same woman who's helping to hold off Ripple was at FTX. It was Caroline Ellison's attorney in the FTX investigation. Go figure. So, and he posted that in response to me. I had posted yesterday that Bill Hinman's calendar was now on the SEC website. And if you remember that Bill Hinman calendar, it was, I think at one time they said that it didn't exist, or it was his personal calendar and all this. They came up with all kinds of lies and excuses not to release the calendar, but they finally had to through Freedom of Information Act request. And I just wanted to, this has been covered in the past, but yesterday I wanted to remind everybody This calendar's on that website now, last updated February 12th, 2024. And it's got on Thursday, June 14th, 2018, they have Bill Hinman physically in Washington, D.C. He's even meeting with Ripple Council in Washington, D.C. Okay? Starting at 10 to 12 p.m., by the way, and then 1 to 2 p.m. So it was during the day and for a couple of hours anyway. And we're trying to reconcile this because on June 14th, he was at the NASDAQ Entrepreneurial Center in San Francisco in person. So how could he be in two places at once? And that is still, this lie is still on the SEC website, folks. All right, Ashley Prosper is one of the people that filed a Freedom of Information Act request. She had filed this one last year, records regarding any memos, memorandum, notes, and or emails sent by Lowell Ness of Perkins Coie to Bill Hinman or his office staff on or around March 26, 2018. So she had sent this Freedom of Information Act request, and now the SEC, they've already stalled her for a year, okay? Now they send her an email apologizing for the delay. They're experiencing a backlog. And then it says, due to the passage of time, we're writing to see if you still are interested in having your Freedom of Information Act request processed. If you are still interested, in other words, they're another delay tactic. And maybe they can get her to reply and say, oh, I'm not interested now. But anything but actually give the documents that are being requested. And that's what happens when you have an SEC that faces no repercussions for anything. Okay, I'm going to skip this, but in DAIXRP.com, there's two things we're going to show. One is more unseen footage from that attempted X47 thing. I hadn't seen this footage yet. I'm going to show that to you. And the other thing is there's another 3-letter agency whistleblower, and we're going to show you one more thing that we've been lied to about. Now there's a whistleblower. It's crazy stuff. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Away we go.